Hello children. Yesterday we started with respiration. We saw the different parts of human respiratory system. We saw the differences between respiration and breathing. We saw what happens during inhalation and exhalation, and we also saw the differences between respiration and photosynthesis. So today we will begin with the types of respiration. So again you have learned this in your lower classes. So we know that respiration can occur in the presence of oxygen. It can also occur in the absence of oxygen. So we term them as aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. So let us look at the differences between aerobic and anaerobic respiration. We know that respiration is a process of breakdown or oxidation of food particles. So aerobic respiration can be defined as a process of breakdown of food in the presence of oxygen, whereas anaerobic respiration is a process of breakdown of food in the absence of oxygen. And in case of aerobic respiration, the end products or the products are carbon dioxide and water. And in anaerobic respiration, the end products are lactic acid, or it can be carbon dioxide and alcohol. And we will learn later where lactic acid is produced and where carbon dioxide and alcohol are released. Then aerobic respiration, it takes longer time to release energy because more amount of energy is produced. So compared to aerobic respiration, anaerobic respiration is a quicker process. And aerobic respiration, large amount of energy is produced. You would have learned in the lower classes, it is 38 molecules of ATP is produced. Whereas in anaerobic respiration, it is very small amount of energy, only 2 ATP molecules are produced. And examples, aerobic respiration, it occurs almost in all the plants and animals, and anaerobic respiration occurs in few organisms like yeast, bacteria, as well as our muscle cells. Now here we are going to look at how breakdown of glucose occurs when oxygen is available and when oxygen is not available. If you see here, the first step, glucose, if you see, it is a 6 carbon molecule, C6H12O6. So the first step in respiration is breakdown of glucose into a compound called as pyruvate or pyruvic acid. So if you see, pyruvate is a 3 carbon molecule. Now this process of conversion of glucose into pyruvate or pyruvic acid occurs in the cytoplasm of the cells, and it does not require any oxygen. So after this process, pyruvate, which undergoes further reaction, it depends whether oxygen present or not, the different type of end products are formed. So if you see, there are 3 cases here. If you take the first case, now here it is clearly mentioned that pyruvate, it is an intermediate product. Okay, it is present in between, so it is called as intermediate product. So depending upon the availability of oxygen or not, the end products vary. So in the first case, it is mentioned clearly in the absence of oxygen, when there is no oxygen available. And where does it occur? In yeast. Okay, if you remember, this process is termed as fermentation. So pyruvate, in the absence of oxygen, it is converted into alcohol and carbon dioxide. Which kind of alcohol? It is ethanol. And this ethanol is a compound which has 2 carbon molecule in it. So along with ethanol, carbon dioxide is also released. That is the reason why you see lot of bubbles comes out, no, when you allow fermentation to occur. And energy is also released, but if you see the energy, it is very less. Only 2 ATP molecules are released. Now in the second step, if you see, this again occurs in the absence of oxygen, or you can say lack of oxygen, insufficient oxygen. Where does it occur? It occurs in our muscle cells. And what are the products here? It is lactic acid, which is a 3 carbon molecule. And along with that, energy is also released, which is again 2 ATP molecules. So when does this type of anaerobic respiration occurs? Usually when we are involved in rigorous exercise. Usually the sports people, when they are involved in too much of sports activities and the normal amount of energy ATP is not sufficient for them. So during that time in the muscle cells, this kind of respiration occurs where there is insufficient oxygen, and this pyruvate here, it is converted into lactic acid. But due to the accumulation, if lactic acid keeps on accumulating for a longer period of time, it might result in muscle cramps. And as I told you, the first step is important, fermentation, which is used in baking industry, brewing industry, formation in producing yogurt, in producing vinegar, etc. And the second step, where again this kind of process occurs due to insufficient oxygen in our muscle cells, and it produces lactic acid, but as I told you, it might result in muscle cramps. And the last, third equation, if you see, this is a normal respiration which occurs in all our cells, where pyruvate in the presence of oxygen. And where does it occur inside the cell? It occurs in mitochondria. So mitochondria is the site of aerobic respiration. So here, in the presence of oxygen, if you see, pyruvate is converted into carbon dioxide, water and energy. And here 38 molecules of ATP are produced. So ATP, you can see here, ATP stands for adenosine triphosphate, and they are called as energy currency of the cells. And they are prepared in the mitochondria and stored there. And as and when the cells or the body requires energy, the ATP breaks down into ADP and phosphate molecules, releasing lot of energy. And again, during breakdown of food, this ADP, which is of low energy content, will again receive phosphate molecules and then become ATP again. So this cycle keeps on continuing as and when energy is required and energy is produced. We'll just see how respiration occurs in other organisms. So in unicellular organisms like amoeba, the entire organism is made up of a single cell. So just by simple process of diffusion, we know that amoeba is a aquatic organism. So water diffuses inside the cell, it goes out of the cell. So when it comes inside, the dissolved oxygen is also brought inside. Similarly, carbon dioxide after respiration is given outside. So both these processes, diffusion of oxygen as well as carbon dioxide, can occur simultaneously. In case of fishes, their respiratory organs are termed as gills, which are present on both sides of just behind the head. So when water is taken in through the mouth, it reaches the gills, and from the water the dissolved oxygen is taken by the gills and then it is passed to the blood. The blood will carry the oxygen to all parts of the body and then it brings back carbon dioxide. So carbon dioxide again is taken by the gills now, and then it is again sent to the water and it comes out of the mouth. So this is how exchange of gases occurs in case of fishes. In case of insects, they have these small openings called as spiracles, which are connected to tracheae. So air is taken in through these spiracles and it is sent through the tracheae to different parts, and then again carbon dioxide is given out during exhalation. Now you must be wondering as to simple process like diffusion can occur in amoeba or these small unicellular organisms. Why does it not occur in human beings? If you see the volume of our body, we are all multicellular organisms and the volume of our body is too huge that in case we depend upon diffusion, then it might take years for oxygen to reach different parts of our body through our lungs. So that is the reason we have a very complex proper system called the respiratory system and the circulatory system, where oxygen is taken through the respiratory system and passed on to the circulatory system and then transported to all parts of the body through our blood. So diffusion definitely is not a very good option for multicellular organisms. How does respiration occur in plants? If you see here, the roots of young plants, they contain root hair, And if you see the soil particles, they also have lot of air spaces. So the root hairs will absorb air or the oxygen from these soil particles through simple diffusion, and this is how exchange of gases occurs in case of roots. And if you see the green parts of plant, the leaves and young green stems, they have stomata on their lower surface. So with the help of this stomatal pore, again exchange of gases occurs, taking in oxygen and releasing carbon dioxide during respiration. Now what about old thick stems? So these thick stems, if you see closely, they will have small openings or pores called as lenticels, and these lenticels, they help in exchange of gases during respiration. So with this we have finished the concepts of respiration. I hope all these concepts are clear to you. So write down all the concepts in your running notes and practice all the diagrams, and I will also send you an activity which shows that carbon dioxide is released during respiration. And learn and revise all these well, and I want you to write a test. So you have already written a test on nutrition. I want you to write a test on respiration, and make sure you prepare well. All the best, children.